Please pray with me. Gracious God, thank you that you do love us exactly as we are. And it's because of the way we are that you send us the love of your Son in Jesus to move us into an even better spot with you. Thank you for your Holy Spirit. And in Jesus' name, everybody said, amen. Good morning. Morning. How many of you have ever spent time putting together a puzzle? Show of hands? All right, absolutely, probably most of us, if not 100%. All right? Do we have any puzzle fanatics out there? As in, like, the more pieces, the more difficult, the better? Anybody? Okay, a couple. I don't understand you people. What's wrong with this? That's kind of messed up. If it gets above 100 pieces, for me personally, my stress level goes just through the roof. Now, have you ever tried one of those like 500, 1,000 piece puzzles and tried to put it together without the benefit of the picture on the box? Ooh, that is like extreme puzzling, okay? Why is it so hard? I mean, all the pieces are really tiny and they all look very similar and stuff like that. But I want to suggest that maybe the reason that it's hard is that we don't have the benefit of being able to see the whole picture, right? All we see are these little tiny pieces. We struggle to see what it would look like as a whole rather than just a bunch of small individual things. I think that's how a lot of us, including myself, tend to view the book of Proverbs, which we read part of this morning. It's all these little sayings and they're cute and sometimes they seem very disjointed at times, almost cobbled together. And we struggle to see the whole picture because it looks like just a bunch of little individual sayings. So we're gonna get our Bible study dancing shoes on here this morning and take a look at a couple of Proverbs to see if we can get a sense of what the whole picture looks like. And then we're gonna circle back to our Old Testament lesson, which was from Proverbs 1. Now, you all hopefully, let me before we do that, couple of quick background context notes. The book of Proverbs is a wisdom book. It is all about God teach us the path of wisdom so that we can live this way, right? Wisdom is ancient. It has been around a long time, and there are actually a lot of books of the Bible that are considered wisdom literature. Proverbs is probably the most well-known, but there's also Ecclesiastes. Parts of the book of Daniel are in the wisdom tradition. Many of Jesus's teachings are believed to be in the wisdom tradition. So probably most of us, when we hear the word proverb, we think like, it's one of those short little sayings. It's a guideline for life. But in reality, wisdom has a lot to say to us in this culture where we're told to be afraid of a lot of different things, which all that does is raise our stress, raise our anxiety, raise our worry. Have any of you ever experienced this? Right? Just like you feel bombarded with information such to the point that you're like, I don't know what to do with all of it. What do I do now? It's like we struggle to figure out what's important and what's not important. Wisdom is here to help you recognize that very thing. What do you need to be worried about? What don't you need to be worried about? Like, does that sound good to anybody? What would it look like to not be stressed out by things that are unimportant, to be able to discern what's worth getting upset about and what you can just sort of let it just go. If that's you, if you're there, you are ready for wisdom. That is all it takes to be ready to receive wisdom. Just to say, yeah, I want that. You're ready. So hopefully you all received, as you walked in, there were little green sheets at that end and at this end. If you didn't get one, squish together, find a neighbor, and stuff like that, because there's gonna be a couple things we're gonna read together. So here comes the Bible study part, all right? We've got 4 little short sections of Proverbs that we're gonna read through and touch on very briefly, and then we'll circle back to Proverbs 1 this morning, all right? And as we hear these readings, I want you to be thinking, what is it saying about wisdom? What is wisdom, okay? So Lisa, turn on your mic. Lisa's gonna read the first one for us, and then she's gonna ask for 3 other volunteers. So be ready to volunteer to read into a microphone. All right. Let me make sure the mic's on, actually. Huh. That'd be very good. Sorry, technological moment here. Go ahead. Is it on, Lisa? Can you hear it? 1, 2, 1, 2. Right. Okay. Hold on. Let's switch it on here. And bibbity bobbity bacon. Go ahead.
Check.
Yay!
Oh, yeah, that's on. Proverbs 9. Wisdom has built her house. She has honed her 7 pillars. She has prepared her meat. She has mixed her wine. She has also set her table. She has sent out her servant girls. She calls from the highest places in the town. You that are simple, turn in here. To those without sense she says, come, eat of my bread and drink of the wine I have mixed.
All right. Thank you. All right, we'll get another reader for the second one in just a second. Anyone notice anything about the nature of wisdom there? Someone just said it. It's a girl. Wisdom is feminine. And all the ladies say, heck yeah, she is. Right? Like you all knew that already, right? Right? The Hebrew word for wisdom is chachma. Say that, chachma. Chachma, right? It's a feminine word. All right? Straight up. There's no way to mince words about that. It's a feminine word. In Greek, the Hebrew word, the Greek word for wisdom, Sophia. Huh. So if you know someone named Sophia, right? So wisdom in the Bible is personified as a woman. She is saying things. She is calling out to you. She is building her house. Obviously, wisdom is not something that only women can tap into and listen. We know that. We'll get to that in a minute. All right, but yes, wisdom is feminine. All right, next proverb. Can we get a volunteer? Fantastic. You guys are great.
Proverbs 3. Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding. For she is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold. She is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with her.
All right, thank you. What is wisdom according to this proverb? Thoughts? It's good. The greatest treasure. She is not about money, is she? No. Gold, silver, rubies. She is more precious and valuable than those. How about this? Maybe we could say it like this. Worship is not about the dollars in your bank account or expensive things in your home. You could have a lot of wisdom, but hardly any money in the bank. Conversely, you could have all the riches in the world and not have very much wisdom. We could probably come up with some examples of people like that, couldn't we? But that probably would not be a wise course of action right now. All right? So, wisdom is feminine, and she's not about money. She's not impressed with the dollars in your bank account. Next proverb. Who we got? Yay.
A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones.
Oh, what a proverb. Oh, rots the bones. I mean, like just one day it'd be great to write a sentence like that. All right, so wisdom. What is she about in this? Peace. I heard someone just say peace. All right. Life. Like throughout the wisdom tradition, we see there's this deep connection between wisdom and your body. Like it's down to your bones, it says. There's even proverbs that connect wisdom to your sleep. Who would like a better night's sleep? Right? To just fall asleep and know that there are things that I don't need to be concerned with right now. Wisdom. Father Ralph has asked us time and time again to write down at times and hand in, what keeps you up at night? Wisdom is the very thing that will help you get through that stress and that worry in your gut. But here's the thing. In the Hebrew understanding of things, wisdom isn't just about like one part of your life. All right. In fact, like in the Hebrew world, which is how Jesus saw the world, there isn't this part of your life over here and then that other part of your life over there. You are a whole person. You are interconnected. You are all together. Right? Each part of your life impacts the other. This is why we know the truth of like, you can't do something stupid on the weekend and then expect it to not affect the rest of your life the rest of the week. Who's been there? Right? Like everyone's saying, oh, yeah. It's like, we know that's true. We can't say, oh, well, I'll do this over here, but these friends over here, they don't know, or whatever. It's like, that doesn't work. That eventually catches up with you, all right? It's all connected. There is no physical and spiritual sort of separate. It is all together. Wisdom helps us make those connections. All right, last proverb on your sheet. Who we got? Yay!
Forth as the first of his works, before his deeds of old. I was formed long ages ago, at the very beginning, when the world came to be.
All right. Wisdom is old. Very old. She has been around for a very long time. This past spring, our group of 7th through 12th graders, we went on a retreat and we actually spent a lot of time in the wisdom teachings. And they came up with a cartoon character that they had drawn like on one of the big sheets to sort of depict wisdom. And they named her Grandma Sophia Bubbles, just because she was saying all sorts of fun things. And stuff. I mean, that makes perfect sense, right? Grandma Sophia Bubbles. Because wisdom is about tapping into something that's been around a long time. Most of us have had grandmothers or grandmother-like people in our lives who have dispensed wisdom to us, right? The benefit of that longevity just gives them that sense of some more wisdom, all right? So wisdom, though, as Grandma Sophia Bubbles will say, is not about finding the quick and easy answer through something. Wisdom will take her time with you. Hear that. Wisdom is not about finding the quick answer. It is a process. Right, one final general sort of overview thing before we get to Proverbs 1. There's no ceiling on wisdom, right? You can never get to the top of wisdom and go, that's it, I've gained it all. Right? Because where does wisdom come from? It's been around since the creation of time itself. God brought wisdom into existence. Therefore, it cannot be, you can't get to the bottom or the top or the edges of it, right? It's not like a talent or a skill where you could be like, oh, this is all I got, right? My sister was greater at basketball than I am. I got to the top of my basketball skill and that was it. I wasn't gonna go any further, right? Wisdom's not like that. It's not like intelligence or talent. Back in the day, high school, I was a grade A student. Like high school was super easy for me. 3.9 GPA, applied to Lawrence, went through a rigorous musical audition, got in, no problem. Like it was really easy for me to do that. I got to college though. I didn't know how to study because I never had to. I didn't know how to manage my time because I'd never needed to. I just kind of wanted to party and stuff like this. I had a lot of intelligence, a lot of talent, very little wisdom. All right? I'd like to think I've gained a little bit in the last 25 years here and there, but make no mistake, there's no connection between intelligence and wisdom. Conversely, I have a friend, his name is Dixon. He's actually been one who's like helped me understand a lot of this wisdom teaching stuff. Dixon, horrible in high school, rejected to every college he applied to. He is now a priest and is dripping in wisdom. Like truly one of the people that I looked up to the most to in my life. So let's now pull out your bulletin and look at Proverbs 1, our Old Testament reading this morning. It is the first proverb in the book of Proverbs. It's going to lay the foundation of what wisdom is truly all about. And I want to call your attention to just two parts of the reading, which will hopefully bring this sermon to a close. And the opening sentences from Proverbs 1 today are these. Wisdom cries out in the street. In the squares, she raises her voice. At the busiest corner, she cries out. At the entrance of the city gates, she speaks. Who's in the square? Who's on the busy corners? Who are at the gates of the city? All sorts of people, right? You've got merchants mixing in with beggars and peasants. You've got kings going in out of the same gates that the normal, regular folk go right through. Wisdom is for everyone. She's available to everybody. It's not just for the elite or those who get the best ACT scores or who go to the right college or have the most money or have the most power. Everyone can hear and learn from her voice. She's always crying out, always waiting for you to hear and to listen in every circumstance. If I get in a fight with Jim Dixon, all right, and I'm the jerk in the situation, wisdom is saying to me, Aran, what can you learn here? All right? That is the voice of wisdom. Now, a little further down in our reading, wisdom has this to say. She says, because I have called and you refused, I've stretched out my hand and no one heeded, and because you have ignored all my counsel and would have none of my reproof, I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when panic strikes you, when panic strikes you like a storm and your calamity comes like a whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you. Wisdom just got a little sassy on us. Right? She is sassy. She's direct. Like there's not a whole lot of cuddly passages in the book of wisdom. In the book of Proverbs, this wisdom literature. She's not necessarily negative, but she's not going to be gentle with you either. She's going to tell you straight up. If you make a decision and you haven't been listening to the voice of wisdom, she's kind of going to go all kind of like, I don't know, like old school Dr. Phil on you. How's that working out for you? You know, like, really? That's what you're gonna do? She will straight up tell you, there is a path that leads to life and there is a path that leads to death. But here's the point. The wisdom tradition is not asking if there is life after death. It is talking about asking if there is life, can there be life before death? This is why so many biblical scholars believe that Jesus' teachings are, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are in the wisdom tradition. Because the majority of Jesus' teachings aren't about what's going to happen in the future. Many of them are, but many of them, most of them are about the here and now. As we read in our gospel lesson this morning, who do you say that I am? Jesus asks his followers that. That's in the present tense. You want to be my followers? Deny yourself, take up your cross, lose your life. Well, Jesus isn't saying to end your life. That would be ridiculous. He's speaking in the wisdom tradition. To follow Jesus means we have to have our attention on this life today. For Jesus followers, like life and death is not about our physical state. I have spoken with a lot of people who are in the process of actively dying, and they seem more alive on the inside than ever. And I've also spoken to people who are like, they're at the pinnacle of health, perfect shape, and they're dying inside. Wisdom is asking that question, are you living or are you dying? And in the wisdom tradition, it's about making the decisions in the here and now, choosing things that lead to life, health, listening, connection, relationship with one another. And when we don't, I don't think wisdom is trying to make us feel bad about it. I think she's just trying to wake us up and invite us to realize that following Jesus is about having a life before death, not just after it. So maybe we can ask a few questions here to wrap this up as we leave this place. What is bringing you life? What is feeding your inner self? What gives life to your soul? And conversely, are there things that are causing you turmoil? That sense of just dying inside. How's that working out for you? As we enter this new school year, this sort of season of autumn, a challenge I'd like to hand to you all is this. Choose life. Do something each day that lets you know that you're alive and that you're not dying inside. Seek wisdom. Like, listen to her voice when she says, that's not important. You think it's important, but all it's doing is causing you worry. And it's killing you. It's actually death. It's just not that important. Pray about it and invite you to choose the path of wisdom. Amen.